Good morning all. Just as we watch the mowers leave the field, we are picking up zero grazed grass first thing this morning. You can see it's an absolutely lovely day. Hopefully we get a decent amount of maize off today, and this week's now looking pretty good weather wise. The weather does seem to change every day. It looks positive, so hopefully we have a good old hit at that maize this week, and the majority of it will be off by the end of the week. But we've got to start with zero grazed grass to keep the plant running. Obviously they're feeding zero grazed grass every day, so we need to make sure that in between maize harvest we're able to keep them supplied with grass as well. So Will's up here now. He's got Josh next to him. So we'll pick this grass up. Fairly sure the mowers have just headed off now to another field to pick up. We'll get them enough grass to keep them going for a few days, and then we'll be back onto maize silage for the same AD plant later on today. And we've got the next block that we're picking up is maybe 120-ish acres, 130 acres total. Some of that will be going to dairy farms and the rest to the AD plant, which is just there. So we're all close. If Will's feeling anything like me while he's up in that chopper right now, he's probably still feeling a little bit delicate from the wedding on Saturday. Yesterday was a real struggle. So that's how the morning's starting. They'll finish picking this grass up, they'll head to the next field and sort that one out, and then by the middle of the morning hopefully we'll be heading off to pick up some maize, and yeah, it'll be all systems go. Everyone on trailers hauling that back to the AD and back to some local dairy farmers. So yeah, and that'll most likely be the majority of the week, hopefully, if the weather does continue to play ball. With the cold nights that we're looking to have now, the maize will all be turning pretty quick, and I can't imagine any of it won't be fit to harvest now. So we could do with a few nice days in a row. And I'd have thought this week, well, I know this week that Dad will be getting the winter wheat in the ground. Everything in terms of harvest this year has been early, and Dad likes early drilling anyway, but it just means that there's ground there ready to go. When you compare this year to last year our true maize harvest, I think, started on my birthday, which is the 30th of September. Aside from about 3 fields, we did 3 fields early, purely to keep the AD plant ticking over. So if you consider that if we have a nice week this week, it's not beyond the realm of possibility that we'll be 90% done on maize. Everything's pretty early in comparison, which you never know if it's a good thing in terms of workload at this time of year, but it makes you a little bit on edge about what the rest of the year in terms of weather has in store for us. But as I say, if it's a dodgy week, it can kick you back a few more weeks and then you're just in line with last year anyway. So we are now in the 40-acre block that we, if you remember last week, came in, did one load from, and the ground was too wet. So we are now back in there this week, and as you can see, absolutely fine in here now, which is good. We'll just watch Josh's trailer get its last little bit and he'll head off. We've so this morning Ant has to do a bit of tanking, so we're one tractor and trailer down there, but we've got Charlie on from BG Pierce, so we're not short-handed or too short-handed as yet. Obviously you can see now there is a bit of a gap and Will's waiting, and at the moment there isn't a tractor for me to drive, but I'm making inquiries about hiring one for the next couple of days on some of our longer runs, just so that we can get through as much as possible in the day, as we've got a busy week this week, and we've got kind of 4 big blocks left ourselves, along with farmers that are keen to go as well. So obviously the more trailers you can have, the better. And I think, yeah, the next couple of days we'll have a few more on from Pierce's as well. So we just had quite a long wait, and now we've got 3 trailers in the field all at the same time. You can see from the colour this crop is definitely fit to go. It's taken a bit of a battering from the wind, so there are parts of it that are they've got a fair lean on. The trailers are spaced out a bit better now. It's always the way when you first start and you're on the first run or two, they all end up in the field together waiting, but they're spaced out quite nicely now. It's about a 2-minute gap from the last one of that round leaving to Flynn getting back, so that's good. Having a look at the crop, it's based on what we've harvested already, it's a bit up and down. Certain areas of the field are better than others, both in terms of height of the crop, but also the size of the cobs. If I snap one off and we have a look at it, they're looking pretty solid, and yeah, decent cob, grains fit, but yeah, some are bigger than others. And as you see here, there's this little area here, you can see it's a bit lower than the rest. It's just, I think from being in the cab with Will, we're thinking it's a bit of a mixture of things. There are some wet spots in this ground from last time, and when we were working it and drilling it, those wet spots were still there. So potentially as it was drilled, it might have been pushed in a little bit. But also it looks like there's areas where possibly the spreading of the of our fertilizer, of our digestate, may just be a bit patchy in certain points. And yeah, it's obviously you can see that in the crop once it's grown. But overall, quite happy with how it's coming off. Weirdly, the ground conditions are absolutely fine, and Will is thinking that what possibly happened last week was he drove in the only wet spot in that first field, and we thought the whole block was going to be that way, but actually it would have been absolutely fine. So once this field's done, we will go into the next field. You can see here this very nice crop of maize, especially what's been sheltered from the wind. It's a little bit greener, but it looks quite positive. So we'll leave Will to it. The rest of the trailers are all either on their way out to the silage pit or very close to being back. We'll let them crack on with that, and I'll catch up with them later on. I've got a few bits to do, and hopefully can source a tractor, as I said earlier, to try and join the trailer train tomorrow. Charlie's just driving past now, so he'll be back in the field before Flynn's full, or actually, as I'm looking across, Flynn is just full now, so we're in quite a good loop now in terms of waiting time for Will, which obviously means crop comes off a lot quicker if your harvester doesn't have to wait. You see there, Flynn's still running his spare wheel after last week's escapades when we were doing maize for a customer. A little incident with a blowout. So obviously we need an update on the silage clamp as well, so you can see how we're getting on. We're a good chunk of the way through it now. There's plenty more to come in as well. His dad's been rolling again today. This will probably be his last day on the buck rake for a while. He intended on starting wheat drilling on Wednesday and doing a couple of days of buck raking, but we've got another kind of 50-ish acres of grass seeds to be drilled, so Dad's going to drill them tomorrow, which means Tony will be buck raking and Dad will be on the drill. And yeah, the plan is to get winter wheat drilling started on Wednesday. Just a quick little video to let you know Ant is still around, as he's not going to be on it much today. He has just pulled on the weighbridge. So I thought I'd quickly get the drone up and just watch a couple of tractors and trailers in action. As one leaves there, we'll see what Will's got left in this second field. Not too much of a strip. The next tractor arrives. I've obviously sped this footage up. We don't have the world's fastest tractors. And as this one makes its way around the headland to get under the spout, I wouldn't like to speculate, but he may or may not have had to give a couple toots of the horn to alert the driver. He could have been having 40 winks, allegedly. And away we go again. So they'll turn at the bottom of the field there and make their way back up towards me, or towards the drone. We'll watch them come past, and that should be a decent amount of that trailer filled at that point. At this point, the next trailer has just made its way into the field and is making its way down across that first field as well. So there's a small gap, and then as ever the trailers start arriving at the same time again. So you can see there's a decent crop of maize there in front of the harvester in this section of the field, and this field seems to have stood a bit better than the first field we came into, which had a bit more wind damage, even though it would have been the next field over from this one in terms of where the wind's coming from. So not really sure of the reason behind that, but thankfully it's coming off okay. None of the crop's gone completely flat, which is a bonus. We've managed to grab it at the right time. So they've moved from that block now to do 1 or 2 fields from another block, which is on the way up to our final destination tonight, where we're going to pick up a bit of maize, hopefully over the next couple of days clear it, so we can be back down closer to base on Thursday for some customers' maize. So it's a bit of a moving day as well as harvesting. Slight issue with Harry's 370. Those of you that have watched for a while will remember he had a problem with the tractor deciding to shift itself into park while it was driving along. So that one's back again. Before it was a wiring loom issue, and it seems like it will be again. So I'm not sure if there's an issue going on there somewhere with 370s. As obviously it was new February, so it shouldn't really be happening. But it just means we've adjusted some things this week so that Harry's tractor's not on the road. Yeah, like I say, at the moment they've just moved to the next block. I'm just filling up the Bowser so that in the morning we can run some fuel to the harvester and fill her up. It looks like hopefully I will be on a trailer tomorrow, which means I might not give you the best view of harvest, but I'll do the best I can. But it's one of those runs where you need as many hands on deck as possible to get it back to where it needs to be. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it goes off without a hitch. But yeah, I'll keep you updated tomorrow. For now, I'll call it a day. I will probably just drop in and see Will on the way back home and see how he's getting on. But for now, for the video, we'll call it there. Thank you very much for watching, and see you tomorrow, and see you for the rest of the week.